that evolved. It started to take off, and then I got really sick and found out I had stage 4 colon cancer.
Welcome to the Cowles Ventures Podcast.
I mean, you've got a very differentiated and varied background of kind of your whole life. I mean, can you kind of walk through that? I mean, you were, like you said, in construction, did some MMA, fighting for a bit, almost went pro.
Yep.
Construction company, and now you have, is it Apisem?
Apisem.
Apisem.
Yeah. So it's Latin for apex or pinnacle. It's I guess I've developed a affiliation or a affection for Latin, just through the whole medical thing. And my first business was Primus Excursio, and which is primal movement or first movement, based around the whole concept for crawling. So you watched the video, you saw why I developed the first one.
Yeah.
And I really didn't understand what I'd done until I tried to use it.
Yeah.
And it was, the alarm went off, and I sit up in bed, and the alarm goes off, and I'm not moving. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I had to turn to my side and push myself up because like nothing in my core would fire.
Huh.
I was like, man, am I getting sick? And I was thinking about it. I'm like, no, I have a fever. And so we took one of our clinicians, Brian, who was a not quite Olympic level road cyclist, but I mean, he'd go out on a weekend and ride 300 miles just because it was fun.
Yeah.
And we put him on there and wired him all up, and
I mean, for people that are listening don't know, I mean, it's on the floor.
Yes.
I'm trying to think what even to compare it to. I can't even think of, it's kind of like the Pilates a little bit, but like not really. It's like your arms are in two positions that are they on wheels, or what is it?
So the first one I made was, I took 2 old Nordic Tracks and cut them in half.
Yeah, okay.
Had plates milled up that would support the rollers.
Yeah.
And then I actually cut an old mountain bike apart and used the pedals and the handlebars with the bar ends. Mm-hmm. And then I just attached eye bolts front and back. So you get on there, and I put knee pads on. So you get in, you kneel down, put the feet into the pedals or the foot cups and strap them down. And then you can put the bungees on the outside or the inside to pull you into fetal position or stretch you out into spread eagle. And you're basically just fighting against that constant pressure. The key things were range of motion and have it be smooth. That's what I needed for my patient. We had thought about using those gel gloves, silicone gel gloves and knee pads, and have them crawl on a treadmill, just to start moving the the arms for increasing upper body strength. When you're trying to train somebody to walk in their new legs, it's a term called proprioception, and you get a little mini brain at the back, right above the brain stem, and that deals with all of your call it unconscious input, joint position, pressure, balance. It coordinates everything. The example I would give to make it more understandable is if you're like hiking on a trail and an eagle is flying over and you want to film it, and so you start like paying attention. You're not really paying attention to the trail. Mm-hmm. You're trying to film the eagle, and the more you pay attention to the eagle, the less you pay attention to the trail, the better your balance is going to be, the quicker, because your subconscious mind, your proprioceptive center, is dealing with all of that input coming in. And when a person loses their limb, that signal is truncated. It's reduced. You chop off somebody's leg below the knee, they don't have their foot, they don't have their ankle, they don't have that sensory input going in so they have to learn how to walk again. And that's typically done between parallel bars. Well, he didn't have enough strength to support himself between parallel bars. He couldn't move his legs really enough to utilize new legs. And so we were just scratching our heads like, how can you get this guy walking again? Typical would have him crawl on a treadmill, but he had pretty severe arthritis in his shoulders and hips, so the impact hurt. And I was laying in bed, and I don't know what your feelings about God or spirituality are, but I'm laying there and I'm like, all right, I'm pretty good at building stuff. And if you show me what to build, I'll build it. And it was that sketch by Da Vinci where it's, spread eagle and square. And so I circled down to fetal positions, and I was like, okay, I can do that. And it was this kind of inverted V or capital A and an M, and I was like, all right, if the sleds are there, skis are there, and a person can flexion, contraction, okay, I can do that. And so I took the Nordic Tracks and I cut them apart, and it looked like a torture device. It looked sketchy, but holy crap, it worked. The current top of the hill right now in the exercise world if you want to really get a good cardiovascular workout is a rowing machine. Mm-hmm. If you're at a really good pace, you get used to, full compression and extension, and you really get after it. You're in the low 80%, 82, 83% voluntary muscle activation. And what we figured out with mine, it's 98% voluntary muscle activation. So your cardiovascular load is through the roof. There's no impact. And I've had the most elite level athletes, soldiers, and you name it. And I'll set the timer, and I'm like, all right, and I'll show them. I'm like, all right, this is the movement, and then I'll let them go. And like I said, the Navy SEALs, we're just over 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. But most people, are you familiar with Tabata? Mm-mm. So Izumi Tabata was a Japanese scientist, and he was asked to help the Japanese speed skating team improve their training. And so he broke the control group down. Half did their normal cardiovascular training, and then he took the other half and had them use a stationary bike. And it's 8 cycles. You got 20 seconds of max exertion and 10 seconds of rest. You do that 8 times. So you got 3 minutes of exercise, really. Mm-hmm. And at the end of his study, the group that were doing the Tabata routine, every metric that could be looked at was improved over the group that was doing standard. And so the analogy I give is, we have this internal fuel tank, and the goal is to deplete that. That puts our body into a state of rebuilding. Ideally, you want to work out the muscles in a balanced way. And I haven't had anybody hit 5 minutes. It's been years. Yeah. And most people will do 30 seconds, maybe a minute, for doing the full body. Mm-hmm. And they're done. Absolutely gassed. So, anyways, yeah, I got the first one together, dropped it off, and it worked. Got him walking again. So they brought it back to me, and I'll stop doing that. When we were doing final delivery for his limbs, he was leaning up against the table, and he had developed a 6-pack from using this thing. He loved it. He was having fun. Mm-hmm. He was feeling good, and the therapist said, "Did you actually use it?" And so I took it home and I tried it that night, and it made me look like an idiot. So,
it's pretty crazy because it's like a mix of mountain climbers on wheels with almost like the ab roller that people do at the same time.
Yeah.
So your core must just be like on fire the whole time, because it's like also, you know, not only is it your upper body and it's trying to combat that, but then also your lower body at the same time, like making those movements and just the whole thing. I mean, first of all, what was your background prior to making that? Like, were you in the medical space? Obviously, you're working with patients, and you had a very specific patient with this issue you had to solve, and this is where you kind of, you know, from there. But I mean, prior to that, I mean, what got you to that space?
I was in prosthetics and orthotics.
Okay.
So I was doing patient care. It was so the care team is you know, the clinician, the physician, the therapist, and the patient. And it was a fantastic blend of, you know, because I had the patient care aspect, I had the lab aspect. So and every patient is different, and so it was a lot of creativity. I've always been very hands-on, like building things. So it was a great mix for me personally. And he came in, Jake the leg guy, and I am. So he'd lost both of his legs to diabetes, and like I said, we were racking our brain trying to figure out how to get him up walking again. Making new legs is kind of easy, but it was his other issues that was going to keep him from walking. Yeah.
When you were working on, this whole machine, most orthotics and people in the medical space aren't necessarily the most entrepreneurial, creative minded. What do you think is different about you that kind of led you to this space, to then how did that kind of translate into what you do now, into all entrepreneurial pursuits, and the difference of that?
Well, I actually went back to the university and I said, hey, I made this thing. It worked. We did some, looking at it and figured some things out that we think there's market potential there. And so they said, well, if you sign it over to the school, we'll develop it, we'll market it, we'll sell it once we've recouped all of our costs on the development side, then you'll get 3% in perpetuity. Mm-hmm. I'm like, wow, 3%. I said, but it's yours. You did it. You can do whatever you want with it. Yeah. So I did the whole friends, family, and fools. Mm-hmm. And one of the small investors came back and they said, listen, we've looked at what you've done. We looked at the market. We see the potential. If you bring us in as business partners, we'll bring a lot more capital to the table. Mm-hmm. And so I did a little bit of look. I already knew that I needed help. I was dropping the ball. It was starting to
hard to do. Were you doing it by yourself at that point too?
Pretty much.
Insane. For anyone that's made a business knows how hard it is with a team, let alone by yourself, to do the product development, the marketing, and the ops, and all the BS that goes along with that. That's insane.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
And I knew I was dropping the ball, so I brought him in as equal partners, and I wasn't really worried about it. All the IP was in my name, my invention, my mm-hmm. business. And the attorneys called it a paper slip. We went to our first trade show and found out that we got back from that. It was phenomenal. We at URSA, and we were the first really brand new, revolutionary level, brand new product in the market. And for the 3 days of the show, we were the most popular booth there, and got amazing response globally. We had a lot of interest, and got back from the show and took a long weekend and came in and said, okay, all right, this is what we need to do. And my partner, that's not your call to make. And he basically gave me this business operating agreement that I'd never seen. Mm-hmm. And he had taken the signature page from manufacturing agreement and put it on this back of this operating agreement, and completely removed me from the business.
Jeez.
And so very short, intense, expensive lesson. And my attorney basically said, well, let him do what he says he can do. I've got 500,000 shares. Right now they're worth $2 a piece. He says he can make them $200 a piece. Mm-hmm. Let him grow the business, sell it off, then you're set. You can do whatever you want. And so I've assigned somebody else to my spot on the board and stepped away, and it just went stagnant. And that was 2000, so 11 years ago.
Jeez.
And it didn't go anywhere. And they finally, anyways, I moved back over. So this happened over in Montana. I moved back over here to Idaho to kind of reset and get started again. Was doing construction. I was scared.
Yeah, I guess I'm not a lawyer, obviously, but that seems crazy to me that you can enter into a partnership agreement and then, a couple of weeks later he's like, oh, actually, this is my company now.
It was over a year.
Oh, well, still.
But
the fact that can happen is wild.
It was a really expensive and painful lesson.
Yeah. Did they ever try to reach out to you, once?
Not really.
That happened and it wasn't kind of doing anything? They just kind of let it die on its own and was like, well, on to the next.
No, we had amazing response.
Right.
And he insisted that he was going to be able to make this thing just explode. Obviously he couldn't. He didn't. And so I was gun shy. I'd done this. I didn't start out wanting to have a business. I just wanted to help my patient walk again.
Sure.
But I did a number of, call them my backyard studies. I took 20 seniors that were all, I said, can you comfortably and safely get down on the floor on your hands and knees? And then can you comfortably and safely stand back up? And if they said yes, all right, great. Are you interested in helping me do this? All 20 of them improved their posture, improved how they walked, improved their coordination, balance, agility. And holy crap, we can help people's lives get better and help them improve. At the time, I didn't understand all of the physical benefits that could come from having such an overloaded cardiovascular experience.
Yeah.
Amputees love it because they get a great workout in short time with no impact. Athletes love it because it's challenging. It's the most challenging physical thing you can do. I've had fighters, I've had mountain climbers. It's just, there's nothing else you can do that touches this. So I moved back over to the Idaho side and started doing construction, and I was like, all right, I'm done with business. I just want to get a job where I can do it and be told what to do and clock in and do my work and go home at the end of the day and not think about it, not worry about it. So I was doing construction while I was testing for law enforcement, and got on to Spokane County, and then I went down and I tested for Las Vegas Metro, and they offered me an amazing job. Out of over 600 candidates, I was number 18 on their list.
Wow.
And it was kind of funny, the group of 20-something that I was with, I was the oldest guy there out of the group, but